this Upanishad very much. And I'm sure that when you will listen to this, you will also like it because uh, it talks about this very deep knowledge, but the story is so beautiful that everybody falls in love with this story. So before we go into this Upanishad, uh, let me just tell you something about what is Upanishad. Upanishad means that Upanishad, it's broken into three words: Upa, Ni, and Shad. Shad means truth or knowledge, and Upa means to reside near, near something. So that's called Upa. So Upa, Shad means truth. So Upanishad means, and Ni means conformity. Confirmed that, and I'm very certain that I'm living near the truth. So Upanishad means living near the truth with conformity or certainty. And another meaning of Upanishad is to sit at the feet of the master and learn about this self knowledge. That is also Upanishad. Now we have these characters, Yama and Nachiketa. So Yama is the lord of death, and Nachiketa is a little boy. He is the son of Bajar Sravasha, who is a scholar uh, aspiring for heaven, uh, uh, and and he is performing a sacrifice, Vedic sacrifice, which is called yagna, called Vishwajit yagna. So Nachiketa, the literal meaning of Nachiketa is somebody who is eager to receive the knowledge, who is not a scholar, who is not a wise, who is not wise, but is eager to receive knowledge. He is called Nachiketa. And the other meaning of Nachiketa is that somebody who does not have any attachment towards worldly objects. That is also called Nachiketa. And in this Kathopanishad, Yama uh, names this sacrificial fire, this very auspicious fire by which one can surpass death and go to heaven and just reside there for forever. So this fire was also named after Nachiketa. So it is called Nachiket fire. So uh, we have to know these two things. One is called, in India, it's called Drishta, and one is called Adrishta. That is, Drishta means something which is tangible, and Adrishta, that is something which is not tangible, or seen and unseen. So seen means, Drishta means those works or those results of works which we perform while we are uh, residing in this world. So when I'm residing in this world, when I'm doing my karmas, I'm performing my karmas, my actions, then I'm aware of those actions, and I also receive the results of these actions. I either enjoy them or I suffer them. So these are all within the realm of this world or duality. So this called tangible or drishta or seen. Now there is another world which starts after death, which we are unknown, which we don't know. We are totally ignorant about that particular world. Somebody believes it, somebody doesn't, but irrespective of our belief, there is this world which exists, and we have to go there. Now, you know, we in this current age, we are just trained, or we are just encouraged to attain those which are relevant to this world only. We are not told to do something which might be helpful after life. We don't receive that kind of knowledge. Our upbringing doesn't, didn't teach us this. But in ancient India, like 20, 4,000, 5,000 years before, you know, uh, the children, they used to go uh, to the master's house to receive knowledge, and there the master used to teach them these drishta and adrishta. That is, the works that you need to do while you are living here in this world, and you also need to do those works which you are going to enjoy, or which are going to give you benefit after life. So what are those are these Vedic rituals. So there are three kind of prescribed works that has been mentioned in the Vedas. That is uh, ijya, adhyayana, and dana. These are the three karmas, or three karma, or three karmas. One is ijya. Ijya means sacrifice. Performing sacrifice. Sacrifice means this Vedic sacrifice. This you know uh, uh, lighting the fire and offering offering food and offering medicines to the Lord. So that is this fire, or it's called Agnihotra. And then Adhyayana. Adhyayana means self study. We know it's self study. Adhyayana also means chanting of uh, chanting of Om. That is also Adhyayana. And also, when you meditate on the self, that is also called Adhyayana. So that is a part of our job, which we are going to get benefited after our life. So one is the Vedic sacrifice, other is Adhyayan, and the last is Dan. Dan means to give, to charity, charity. So these are three works. In the same, in the Bhagavad Gita also, Lord Krishna had mentioned this, Bhuta Bhava Udbhava Karo Visarga Karma Sanjita. That is, the karma means, uh, you know, karma means that from where the world has come, where the world has come into existence. And with karma, the world grows. So these are something which we know. And Visarga means these three karmas which are mentioned in the Vedas. That is, Yajna, Dana, and there was Adhyayana in Vedas. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says Adhyayana as Tapa, that is austerity. So, uh, so these are the works that one need to do to uh, attain that which which is going to benefit us after life. So in the ancient times, the the sages or the scholars, they used to perform actions by which they used to get benefited in this world. They used to perform all the good karmas. For them, there were all these, you know uh, all these prescribed works in the Manusmriti, or in the other Upanishads, or Brahman, or in the Vedas. Everywhere there is mentioned what kind of actions you need to do, so that you can you know you can keep performing good karmas. You can increase your corpus of the results of good karma, so that you can attain higher level of consciousness after life. And then there are other prescribed works by which you can be benefited directly when you go through this death, so that you can attain like a higher plane of consciousness. So here Katha Upanishad starts. Katha Upanishad. Katha means, it comes from the word called kathor. Kathor means very hard, very, very tough. So in the Katha Upanishad, this small boy, this child, Nachiketa, who is like 7 or 8 years, he, he goes to the house of death. That is, he goes to the other world in the house of death, just to, obey the command of his father. And in the house of death, he had a conversation with the Lord of Death, that is Yama. And from there, he came back being immortal, being self realized. And that is why it's called Katha Upanishad. It's very hard. It has been very, very hard for this boy, little boy, to go through all this experience of, getting treated like this by the father, and then traveling to Yama's house, to the Lord of Death's house, and then coming back again. So it starts like this, that uh, Vajashravash was a scholar. So he was performing a yagya, that is Vedic sacrifice. So this yagya, the name of this yagya is Vishwajit Yagya. So Vishwajit Yagya means that yagya by which you will attain such kind of, power, such kind of energy, when you can transcend death and you can reach heaven being in this body. Like, we know that, if to go to heaven, we have to leave this body. That is, we have to go through death. When death comes, then we can go to heaven. We cannot go to heaven by with this body. But Vishwadit, by with this yagya, Vishwadit yagya, you gain that power, you gain that energy by which you can surpass death and you can go directly to heaven. Now, there is this regulations. There are some few rules to perform this yagya. One of the rules is, or the most important rule of this yagya is, to give up everything that you have, to give away all your belongings. Okay. Now, Nachiketa is a boy. His father was performing this yagya. So Nachiketa saw that while giving away gifts to the holy men, his father was not giving the best of the gifts which were in the house. His father was rather, giving away those gifts which will have no value for the person who is receiving that gift. You know, like, there's a description of giving away cows. Now, what kind of cow did the father of Nachiketa give away? Pito Daka. That is, this cow has already drank the last water. Means the cow is not able to drink water anymore. So that cow is in the fag end of its life. Pito Daka Jagdat Trina. That is, she had already, fed, like she had already eaten all the grass that she needed to eat. Now there is no room for any other, food. That is, you might see that when a person dies, that person becomes unable to take food. The intake of food becomes less and less, and at one point, he stops eating. So, that these cows have already stopped eating. Pito daka jagdatrina dugdha doha. They have stopped milking. So, and nirindriya, that is, our the senses. We have 10 senses. So, these senses were all damaged. The senses were all damaged. When do our senses get damaged? When the body has come to the end of its, to the end. Then our senses becomes, that is, our body has come to near decay. And and these kind of cows were gifted to the saints. So while Nachiketa watched this, that his father was giving this, so he knew that, these injunctions, or these, rules, these are the rules of the Vedas. These have been mentioned. These are prescribed by the Vedas, and the Vedas are truth. So you need to abide by those rules. You need to obey those rules. If you don't obey the rules or the law of Vedas, then you are not going to get the desired results. The desired result for this, vast, sacrifice, Vedic sacrifice, which his father was performing, was to attain attain heaven. Heaven is the abode of happiness. But Nachiketa saw that the way my father is conducting this yagya, he's not going to attain the abode of happiness. He actually is, you know, he's is working very hard to attain the abode of sorrow, of pain, of sufferings, because he's not following the rules. And then he wanted to do something for the father. He wanted to make his father realize. He wanted to do something for his father. He wanted to contribute to this, to this yagya, and that is why he came to his father, and he told, "Father, I am also one of your belongings, because I am I am a child and I belong to you. So tell me, whom are you going to give me away? Tell me, whom are you gifting me?" So when this small boy he came, and he was saying his father, "Father, whom are you gifting?" So initially the father thought that he's just joking, he's just playing. So the father said, "Okay, you go and play there. Don't disturb me." But Nachiketa was very persistent. He came again and again. Ditiyam, Tritiyam. That is, he came again and again, and he was asking his father the same question: "Father, whom are you gifting me?" At one time, the father got very angry, and with his and in rage, he said that I'm gifting you to the Lord of Death. And then Nachiketa, goes to the Lord of Death, and then this whole story comes. This whole Upanishad starts, where he goes to Yama and he asks about this self knowledge, and you know, Yama gives him this self knowledge, and he comes back. So this is the story that we are going to study in the Upanishad. This story, in the Katha Upanishad, this story is not, complete. It's like, just bits and pieces. Like it's piece, a little bit of here, a little bit of there. But the whole story has been mentioned in Taittiriya Brahmana. So, there, if you go and see in the Taittiriya Brahmana, you will find this whole story of Nachiketa and Yama. What happened to Nachiketa, and what. And then Shankaracharya, he had written commentaries about Katha Upanishad. So that also explained everything about this Upanishad. So now we're going to start the Upanishad. I'm going to chant, and just listen to it, and just enter into Upanishad. So while the Upanishads are chanted, or when we study the Upanishad, we study with a mantra of peace, a prayer of peace. The peace is the goal. Peace is the goal. So we study with the prayer of peace, and then we enter into the Upanishad. So here also we'll start this invocation, the prayer for peace, and then we go into the Upanishad. Hari Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So it says that may He, that is, may the Lord, protect us both. Us means the master and the disciple. So the disciple is praying that not only me, you should protect my master also. So may the Lord protect us both. May the Lord be pleased with us. He be pleased with us, so that he bestows us with the highest knowledge. May we work together with vigor. We should, me and my master, we should work together with the power of the soul, the power of the self. the the Shakti, that is Oja, the power of which is within us, the transcendental power, not the material power, which is in the body or in the mind or in this universe. No, we should work together with that, cosmic power, divine power, which is within us. May our study make us illumined. The study that we are going to do, may it make us, full of light. May it bring enlightenment to us. May we all get enlightened by the light of the soul. May there be no dislike between us. This is also very important. While we receive knowledge from the master, at one point, if the relationship with the master is not based on truth, if the relationship with the master is not based on, mutual interest, that is, the master is always talking about the self. His interest is just to teach you the knowledge of liberation, the knowledge of the highest knowledge of liberation, the highest knowledge of the self. Now, if I go to the master with the interest of gaining, worldly wealth, then uh, then it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So, we should be always be very clear about that. That whenever we go to the master, should be very, we should be very careful that uh, we only have that, we only have that desire, that urge, just to attain self knowledge. Om peace, and Om peace. So now we are going to start the Upanishad. Om Ushannah vai Vajasravasha Sarvaveda dado Tassaha Nachiketa Nama Putra Asa. He said that Vajasravasha, he, with the desire of attaining the heaven, he had, he got engaged into this Vedic sacrifice of Vishwajit Yagya. And there he was supposed to give away everything. Sarva Veda Samdado. He had to give away everything, all his belongings. Tassaha Nachiketa Nama Putra Asa. And this Vajasrava, he had a son named Nachiketa. So, what is Nachiketa seeing? Nachiketa is seeing that this huge ritual is been performed, and what is seeing? Tagum ha kumaragum santam dakshinasu niyamanasu shraddha vivesha somanyata. Nachiketa was seeing that the gifts which were offered to the priests, or to the learned, or to the scholars, or to the saints, they were not proper. The rules were not followed. That is, which we had already said, that, niyamana. So there was, the rules were not followed. And when the rules were not followed, that means that my father is going to get exactly the adverse result. He's not going to get the desired result, he's going to get the adverse result. And because he was very, he had this faith in these Vedas, you know that faith partook him, that faith came, that faith, overtook him. And with that faith, he wanted to offer himself as a as an assistant, so that, his father may gain the desired result. His father may not, get the adverse result and go to hell, not to heaven. So he says, पीतोदक जगदत्रिण दुग्धदोहा निरिन्द्रियाः आनन्दा नामते लोकास्तान् स गच्छतीता ददत. He said that he saw that father was giving away those cows which had already, drank the water for his life. The cows cannot drink more water. The cows cannot eat more, and they cannot milk, or they have become very, very old. These kind of cows were given away, and he knew that by this his father is going to attain the plane of Ananda. Ananda means the place where there is no joy at all, where there is no happiness, where there is no delight. Who wants to go there where there is no delight? Nobody. So his father is actually, you know, uh, actually arranging everything to just go to that, space. Ananda nama lokastan sagachatita dadata. A person who does this, he goes to that loka of ananda, that is where there is no joy. Sahovacha pitaram kasmai mam dasasiti. Now he comes to his father and he says, Father, whom are you going to give me? Whom are you going to gift me? Means, please give away me also, because I also want to be a part of this huge yagya that you're doing. I'm not arrogant. I'm not trying to point out your faults. I want to help. Here, Nachiketa is not arrogant. He's he's full of faith. He's full of faith. He wants, his heart is pure. He wants his father to succeed in his endeavor, and that is why he says that whom are you going to give? Now, when he says this, when a child comes and says that whom are you going to give me away? So what will we do? We will just say that, okay, you don't need to think about that. Go and play. So the father might have done this, but Ditiyam, Tritiyam, the child kept coming back and you know asking the same question again and again. Tagum ho vacha mrittuve twa dadamiti. Now the father became very angry. He said, I'm going to give you to, I give you to mrityu, that is, I give you to death. That means you go and die. Now, when he said this, Nachiketa became very sad. He was very pained. He didn't expect this, that his father is going to do this. His father is going to just bluntly tell him that go and die. So you know he started to think within himself that why did my father say this? Why did he have to say this? I'm not you know i'm not like i'm not a very notorious boy. I'm not somebody who is very like uh, degraded. I'm good in many things that I do. I'm good in my studies. I'm good. I'm a very like respectful child. I respect my parents. I respect I love means my environment. So why did my father do this? And what will Yama accomplish by having me there? So he was thinking. He thought Bahuna me mi prathamo. He said that in many ways, in many places, among many, I am the I'm I'm the first. Because I'm the best. Among many, like among many students, among many people, I'm the best. Bahuna me mi madhyama. And among many, I might be second. But I'm not like last. I didn't fail. I am either first or I'm second. But I'm not, I didn't fail in anything, in uh, any of my given job. Kingum stiddamasya kartavyam yanmayad karishyati. And what will Yama actually accomplish if I go there? He was like, when we become sad, we also think like this, that why is this happening? Why is this happening with us? It should not have happened. It should not have happened. And what will happen if this happens? What is the result of if this happens? This is also what we think, and this is what Nachiketa was thinking. Now, when the father said this to Nachiketa, the father also became very very sad. The father was the father was also like, he realized what he did. He didn't realize until he just spoke these words, and because Nachiketa used to obey his father. Nachiketa said that when my father has said this, though it's painful, I'm going to obey him. I'm going to die. I'm going to go to the Lord of Death. Now his father comes and says that no, 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 please don't do this. I didn't say this, I didn't mean this. I just told to get rid of you. But Nachiketa said, no, no. When these words has come out of you, they mean everything for me. I'm going to do exactly what you said. Though it's painful, but I'm going to go to the Lord of Death. Now, he's kind of, like consoling his father. His father is crying. His father is very sad. He's crying. And Nachiketa, he's a little boy, and the father loves his child. And Nachiketa now is consoling his father. What is he saying? Anupashya yatha purve pratipashya tatha pare sashamiva mrityu pachyate shashamiva jayate punaha. He says that, father, see the past. See the past. You had your father, you had your forefathers. They had their fathers. They had their forefathers. Where are they now? They are gone. They are gone. So, and the people who and see the future. Today you are here. Tomorrow you are not going to be here. You are also going to die. Today I am here. Tomorrow I am not going to be here. So we are all going to die. So, when you see the past and when you see the future, the only thing that we see is death. Everybody has to leave this. So let me go today. It's okay for me to just leave today. And he said that, this life of human being. What is this life? The life is like the life of a corn, like the corn plants. They are born. These plants are born. They give this corn fruit, and then they die again, and then they are again born. So this is this cycle of life and death, and we are all within this cycle of life and death, and this is what we have been doing forever. So there is no harm in dying. So I need to go there. Now Nachiketa, goes to the to the house of the Lord of Death. So these are not in the Upanishad. It's in the Brahmana that Nachiketa goes to the house of the Lord of Death. And when he reaches the house, he finds that Yama, who is the Lord of Death, he is not in the house. He has gone to some place, outside. He has gone on tour. So the council of Yama or his wife, the wife of Yama or his children or his servants, they urged Nachiketa to you know, come inside the house, stay there, wait for Yama, have food and drinks. But Nachiketa said, no, I came to see Yama. My father sent me to Yama. Without meeting him, I'm not going to touch food. I'm not going to touch water. And I'm not going to enter the house. So he just stayed outside the house for 3 days. Like after 3 days, Yama, returned. And after he returned, then he was told that this Brahmin boy has come, and outside. He's outside. He didn't come he didn't come inside the house, and he did not take any food. So at that time, or even today, in the we believe that a person who comes to your house, who visits your house, a guest, he is like Narayan. He's like Narayan. So you need to take care of him. And if you don't take care of him, then you lose many things. So and because this boy is a Brahmin boy, Brahmin boy, then at that time, when this Upanishad in the Upanishadic time, Brahmins were considered to be like fire, like sun, like God, like lords. So if a lord or God comes to your house, because they possess this, this possesses this knowledge, within them. So when a fire enters your house, if you do not, if you do not use it properly, that fire can burn your house. So everybody used to take care of the guest, especially the Brahmin guest. So now there's a description. What says? आशा प्रतीक्षे संगत गुम सुनृताम इष्टापूर्ते पुत्र पशुंश्च सर्वान् एतद्वृन्ते पुरुषस्य अल्पमेधसो यशवान् अश्नन् वसति ब्राह्मणो गृहे. Now it is a description that if a Brahmin comes to your house, and if you don't care him, if you don't care about him, if you don't take care of him, what happens? What are the consequences of that? He says, Asha pratikshe. Asha means your hopes. Your hopes are destroyed. And pratikshe. Pratikshe means expectations. Your expectations also are destroyed. Sangata. Sangata means, association. Like when we associate ourselves with holy men, when we associate ourselves with, wise men, we get the benefit of their wisdom. Okay, just by associating ourselves with them, we get the benefit of their wisdom. We get their karma. They do many good karmas. So when we treat them well, so they bless us and they transfer their good karmas to us. Now, if I have not taken care of a Brahmin guest, then Sangha, then I will lose association with the wise man, and I will lose association with the results which I was receiving by being with wise men. Means I will lose association with the wisdom also, with all the good karmas also. Means I will be left alone, empty-handed. Empty-handed. So, Asha Pratikshe Sangata Gum Shunritam. Shunritam means, we all want to hear good things so that we can develop in our life. We need to hear things which are good for us, you know, and we need to say things which are good for us and for others also. Now, if I have not taken care of people who comes to my house, then what happens? I will never get that opportunity to listen to things which are good to me or good for me, which will do good for me. I will not get to listen those words, and I will not be able to say things which will be good for me and for others. So, that is also that harm that we are going to do. So, Asha Pratikshe Sangata Gun Sunritam Ishta Purte. That is, the Ishta and Purti, they also are destroyed. Now, what is Ishta? Ishta means Agnihotra Tapah Satyam Vedanam Chaiva Palanam. Like, you know, we do this Agnihotra, that is this fire sacrifice, and they give us some result. So, tapa means austerity. Satyam, that is truth. Vedanam Chaiva Palanam, that is, we abide by the laws of Vedas. Atithyam, that is, we take care of the guests. Vaishya Devascha Ishtam Itta Vidiyate, and, taking care of the plants, taking care of animals. So, they all have a result, and this result is called Ishta. Now, when I have not attended well to the guest, especially when they are Brahmins, then this Ishta, though I have done everything like that. I have performed Agnihotra, I have performed the best austerity, I am truthful, I have performed all the laws of, I've obeyed all the laws of the Vedas, and I've taken care of animals and plants and everything, but still, because I have not taken good care, or I have not cared for the guest, especially who are the Brahmin guest, then my Ishta also is destroyed. That is, all my actions, all my good actions are going to be destroyed. And then Purta. What is Purta? Purta means Vapi Kupa Taragadi Deva Yatanani cha anya pradhanam arama purta itya vidhiyate. Like when we, suppose we have constructed bapi. Bapi means lakes for water, water reservoir for lakes. Or kupa means well. Taragadi means something which is, intermediate to the lakes and the well, small reservoirs and temples, places for the gods, for the deities, and anna pradhanam, devoting food to people, and building parks, arama. These are called purta. So if I have done all this, so I am supposed to do good karma, and I am supposed to get the benefits of good karma. But if I have not attended to my guest well, then this purta also is destroyed. So it says, Asha pratikshe sangata gum sunritam ishtapurte putra pashuscha sarvan, and all my son, all my children, and all the livestock that I have, cow or any livestock, they're all going to get destroyed. एतद् वृन्ते पुरुषस्य अल्पमेधसो यस्नन् अश्वन् brahmano grihe. People who have this very less, wisdom or very less intellect, they can they can take the risk of not treating, you know treating good or not taking good care of the guests. You should not do that. That is what had been communicated to Yama. So Yama realized that something very bad has happened. Great, something very great, damage has happened. This boy who has come to me and he has not eaten, he has not drink a drop of water, he just stayed outside my house. You know, this has been a great damage. This is a great damage done to me and my household. So he wanted to rectify it. He wanted to control this damage. So how did he control this damage? He said to Nachiketa, Yama said to Nachiketa, Tristro ratri yadavatsa grihe me nashnan brahman natitir namasya. He said, you came here and you stayed, without food, without shelter, without water, O Brahman, for 3 days. And that will cause me a great amount of damage in my house. I want to rectify it. I want to rectify it. So what should I do? Namaste stu Brahman swasti me stu tasmat pratitrin varan vrinishwa. O Brahman, please accept my namaskar. That is, please accept my salutations. And for these 3 days, for these 3 nights, I am offering you 3 boons. You can ask any boon that you want. I will provide you with all that. So, Nachiketa said, okay, it's a fair deal. So now Nachiketa is asking the first boon. What is the first boon? यथा पुरस्ताद भविता प्रतीत औद्दालुकी आरुणि मत्प्रशिष्ट सुखगुम रात्रि शायिता वीतमन्यु त्वाम ददृशिवान मृत्यु मुखात प्रमुक्तम. He said, my father, yatha purastat bhavita pratita oddaluki aruni mat prashishta. My father, Aruni, my father, the son of Aruni, Oddaluki, is my father. So he should be happy when he sees me. Means when I go back to him, when I free myself from the claws of death. Means the first boon was this, that he wanted immortality. He said that now I'm going to get back to my father. So, it's immortality. So he said that, when I go back, when I free myself from your claws, from your prison, so then my father should recognize me and he should be happy with me. He should have no anger. He should be happy with me. Tat prasishtam tat prashishtam mavi badet pratita etatrayanam prathamam varam and he should recognize me also. And by recognizing me, he should be very happy with me. And, uh, you know, uh, this is my first boon. So Yama says, यथा पुरस्तात् भविता प्रतीत औद्दालुकी आरुणि मत्प्रशिष्ट. Oh, sorry. So the first boon was this: Shanta Sankalpa Sumana Yatha Syat. Vita, so that is what I was thinking. Shanta Sankalpa Sumana Yatha Syat. Vita Manyur Gotamo Ma Vimrittu. Tat Prasishtam Ma Vibadet Pratita. Etatrayanam Prathamang Varam Brine. He said that, when I go back, when I go back to my father should recognize me and he should be happy. He should not be angry. When I free myself from your claws, and when I go back to my father, he should recognize me and he should be happy. And Yama said, then Yama said, Yatha Purastat Bhavita Pratit. Yama said, yes, that is going to happen. When you go back, when I release you, when you are released from the claws of death, then your father will see you and he will be very happy and he will go to sleep being very happy. That was the first one. Now the second one. He says, Swarge loke nabhayam kinchanasti natatra tvam na jaraya bibheti ubhe titva ashanaya pipase shokadi go modate swarga loke. He said that in this, the second boon. Now Nachiketa is asking the second boon. He says, in this heaven, we see that people are very happy. Swarge, loke, nabhayam. They don't have any fear. They don't have any fear. And they, uh, why they don't have any fear? Because here you don't exist. You exist only for us in this earth. But here in heaven, you don't exist. And because you don't exist, there is no death. And because there is no death, people don't have any fear. They're all very happy. And uh, because they don't have any death, they also don't have old age. Everybody is here very youthful, very healthy. Ube titva ashanaya pipasa, and these people have transcended the thirst and hunger. When you go to heaven, you are just happy. You're just happy. You don't have any hunger. You don't have any thirst. Shokadi go modate swargaloke, and people have gone beyond all grief. They've gone beyond all because they don't have anything to lose here. Whatever they need, they can get it in heaven. So people don't lose anything, and because they don't lose anything, there is no fear. So people are all rejoicing in happiness. Now Nachiketa says that Satam Agnim Swarga Madheshi Mrittu Prabruhiti Tvam Shabda Dhanaya Mayam. I want to know about that fire which, by lighting which leads us to this heaven. Means the sacrifice that Nachiketa's father was doing. He wanted to know about that sacrifice. He said that I want to know about this fire which will lead me to heaven. And then he said, Swargaloka Swargaloka Amritatvam Bhajantam Etadvitiyena Vane Bare Brine Varena. And then said that people who 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 achieve this or attain this heaven, they're all very happy. So in my second boon, I want to know about this. I want to know about this fire, and you tell me with full faith. Now Yama is telling him, Prate brabimi tadume nibodha, Prate brabimi tadume nibodha, Swargamagnim nachiketa prajanan, Anantalokapti matho pratishtham, Vidhi tvametam nihitam guhayam. Yama said that I am going to tell you everything about this yajna, by which, about this fire, about this Vedic sacrifice, by which a person attains heaven, living in his, being in his body. But you know that this fire that you are asking, it is, present within the depth of your heart. That is the knowledge, the highest knowledge is all within the depth of your heart. It is not outside. Yama says that this fire, which is going to be, you know, lightened to perform this Vedic sacrifice, actually resides within the depth of your own heart. Lokadimagnim tamuvacha tasmai ya ishtaka va tirva yathava. Now Yama is telling him all the procedures of this sacrifice, how many bricks are needed, how the bricks are arranged, the mantras which are used. He's saying everything to Nachiketa. Sachapi tat pratyavadoddathoktam atha samritu punarevahatushta. After saying this, he told Nachiketa to, tell him what he had said. And Nachiketa, he just recited everything that Yama told him. And Yama was very, very happy, very, very happy. And, by being happy, Yama again repeated the same thing so that Nachiketa may remember each and every aspect of that sacrifice. Tama brabita priyamano mahatma varam tave hadya dadami bhuya. And now Yama is very, very delighted by the way Nachiketa has shown diligence, his attentiveness, his sincerity. He's very happy. And by being happy, Yama says that I'm going to give you another boon. I told you that I'm going to give you three boons, but actually I'm going to give you four boons. Now I'm going to give you another boon. What is that? Taveva namna bhavitayamagnim srinkam che mam aneka rupam grihana. He said the fourth boon is this, that this fire which leads people to heaven, this fire will be named after you. This fire will be named after Nachiketa. This fire will be named as Nachiketa Yagna. And O Nachiketa, accept this, this garland full of, jewels. I give you a garland full of jewels, that this fire be named after you. So people say that, here the word shrinka means garland. People also say that shrinkam also means path. So Nachiketa, Yama might have told Nachiketa that I am showing you this path by which a person can, come to heaven. So, whatever it applies. So then Yama is telling more about this Nachiketa, or Nachiketa Yagya, that is, this sacrifice. He's saying, Trinachiketa Triviratya Sandhi Trikarmakrit Tarati Janma Mrityu. If a person performs this Nachiketa Yagya for three times, with three means with father, mother, and guru. With the association of father, mother, and guru, if a person, performs this sacrifice, Nachiket sacrifice, for three times, and three karma krit, that is the three karmas that are prescribed in the Vedas. One is Ijya, one is Adhayan, and the last one is Dana. That is, Agnihotra, that is offering to the fire. Number two is self study, and number three is charity. If a person, performs these in his life, samritu pashana purata pranodya shokadigo modate swargaloke. Samrittupashana purata pranodya shokadigo modate swargaloke. So when a person does this, that is when he transcends all grief, all, he transcends, he transcends death. He transcends death and he transcends all grief, and he resides in the heaven with delight forever. So, you know, then Nachiketa said, I have told you this. I've told you everything about this yajna. Now you ask about the third one. So he says, Esha temagnim nachiketa sargo yamabrinitha ditiyena varena. So Yama says that I have told you about everything about this Nachiketa yajna. Etam agnim taveva pravakshanti janasa tritiyam varam nachiketo brinishva. From now on, people will know, you know, this fire sacrifice after your name. They will know this as Nachiketa Yagya. So, O Nachiketa, now you ask the third boon. What is your third boon? So, Nachiketa is saying, Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushe astitte ke nayam astiti chaike. Nachiketa is saying, this third boon is asking, what is he asking? When a enlightened soul departs from his body, when an enlightened soul departs from his body, people say that he you know he exists. There are some people who say that he exists, and there are some people who say that he does not exist. Okay, so he's not talking about normal human being. Normal human being, after attaining death, they are again born. This life cycle has 6 stages. One is birth, then is the next one is growth, maturity, then decay, death, and rebirth. So this is the life cycle. So Nachiketa knew about this because he had said this to his father, that the life of a human being is like the life of a corn. It takes birth, it dies, again it takes birth in this way. So he knows about a common human being, but he's asking about the wise men, about the yogis. What happens to the yogis when they depart? So, Yama saw that Nachiketa is actually asking for, this knowledge of the self. Because what happens to a yogi when he departs from his body? The yogi actually doesn't depart from a body. The yogi, dissolves within the self. He does not go outside, because for a yogi, there is no outside or inside. For an unenlightened soul, there is outside and inside. There is outer and inner world. There is outer world and inner world. There is universe and there is his soul. But for a, we have been, we have been studying this in the Ashtavakra Gita, that the self is one, non-dual. It's not two. So for a yogi, when he departs from his when he departs from life, when his life is complete, he just gets dissolved within the self. He does not go out or in. He just goes dissolved in the consciousness. So Yama knew that Nachiketa is not asking for, a person who is a yogi who has departed. He is actually asking about self knowledge. Okay, so he said, Yeyam prete vichikitsa manusha. There is always a controversy within people in the world. What happens when a yogi is dead? When a yogi departs, people say that he stays, and there are some who says that no, he doesn't stay. Astitye ke nayam astiti chaike etad vidyam anushishtastvayaham varanamesha varastritiya. I want to know about this knowledge. I want to know about this mystery. You tell me. You tell me, what is this mystery? What happens to a person who departs? What happens to this enlightened soul when he departs from this world, from his life? What happens to him? So Yama is responding to him. What is Yama saying? Devairatrapi vichikitsitam pura nahi suvigyeyam anuresha dharma. Yama says that Nachiketa, the question that you have asked, this boon that you have asked, these gods who resides in this heaven, they're all these ancient gods. They also don't know this answer. What is the difference which makes? They also don't know what happens to an enlightened soul when it departs. And this knowledge that you're asking is very, very difficult. It's very, very difficult. Nahi suvigyayam. It's not so easy to understand. And anuresha dharma, it's very subtle. You're a child. What is the difference it makes for a person who you can ask any other things. Don't ask this. He says that etad vid anyam varam nachiketo vrinishwa mamo parots sirati ma sujainam. Nachiketa, you ask me about something else. You ask some other boon. Don't press me with this question. You can ask anything, in uh, instead of asking for what happens to a person when for a wise man when he departs his body. Nachiketa says, Devairatrapi vichikitsitam kila tvam chamrittu yanna subhiggeya mathya. He said that the thing that these ancient gods they don't know, you know, the knowledge that I've asked is not known to these gods who resides in this wonderful heaven. So who will be the best person to tell me about this? You know, except you. You are the best person. Where I will get a person like you who can tell me that knowledge which even the gods of residing in this heaven does not know. You know, Vakta chasya tadriganyo na labhyo nanyam barastulya etasya kashchit. I'm not going to get anybody as adept as you are for this knowledge. So I don't need any other boon. I want this one. I want to know what happens to a yogi when he departs. Now Yama is saying, Shatayusha putra potran vrinishwa. You can ask for sons and grandsons who can live for centuries, for millenniums. Those long life. Shatayusha putra, not only for you but for your son and your grandson. Shatayusha putra potran vrinishwa bahun pashun hasti hiran namashwan. Ask for these animals, livestock, elephants, horses, deers. You ask for these beautiful, beautiful deers, beautiful horses. I'm going to provide you. Bhumer mahad ayatanam vrinishwa, and ask for land. Become the king of a big, big, vast land. Huge swaths of land. Just become the king of that. Bhumer mahad ayatanam vrinishwa swayang chajiva sharado yavadichasi, and you can live. You know, you can live. You know, how long, whatever how long you want to. You can just choose how much you want to live. Just live. You enjoy this world. Then he says, etat tulyam yadimanyase varam vrinishravitvam chirajivikayam cha. And if you think that these are also not enough, if you think that this whatever I said is not enough, then you can ask me any other things which are greater than this. You can ask me huge wealth, huge, and you can ask me that, immortality, that you can live for how long you want to live. Mahabhumo nachiketa swamedhi kamanam tvam kama bhajam karomi. You can be the king of this whole, world. Be the king of this whole world. And whatever desire you have, just tell me. Just tell me. I'm going to fulfill each and every desire of yours. Okay? Ye kama durlabha mrittuloke sarvan kamangsha chandata prarthayasva. And whatever desire you have, which are very rare, which are not, which does not exist in this world, in this play in this earth. Any desire which you might have, which which does not have, which does not belong to this world, or which are very rare, you can ask me one by one. I'm going to fulfill you all those desires. Imara ma sarata saturiya nahdisha lavaniya manusya. And you see this woman, beautiful woman, and this this music instruments, these chariots, this you can ask anything. Just take them. Just take them. Avit mat prattavi paricharayaswa nachiketo maram manuprakshi. Nachiketa, you can take them. And these omen, this beautiful omen, they are going to become your slaves and serve you for your whole life. Okay, you can ask them, but don't ask this one that you have asked about what happens to a person who is enlightened, who departs. Then Nachiketa says, Swabhava mattasya yadantakaitat sarvendriyanam jarayanti teja. He said, whatever you have told me, these things, these objects of enjoyment, they are all transient. They are very short-lived. And what? And we have this body, we have these senses. They are also going to become old. They're also going to become old very soon. Api swargam jivitam alpameva taveva vahas tava nirtagite. And this life is very, very short. How much I may live? 100 years, 200, 500, 1000. But then one day it's going to end. So I don't need this kind of life. You keep all this song and dance, and all this omen with you. Tell me what I have asked you to. I have asked you. न वित्तेन तर्पणीयो मनुष्यो लप्सामहे वित्तम अद्राक्षम चेत्वा. With wealth, with worldly wealth, nobody can attain peace. Nachiketa is saying, with wealth, this worldly wealth, nobody is can attain worldly, inner peace. And while you are around, Yama, you will be always following me. While you are around, who can ask for worldly wealth? Now imagine that you see death is just near you. Will you ask for wealth? What will you ask? You will ask for peace. You will ask for life, immortality. Immortality. You will not ask, give me 1 million dollars or euros. You will not ask that. Because what will you do with this 1 million euros? You want to, you want to know, you want to live. You want to be peaceful. So, he says that while you are around, nobody can, aspire for worldly wealth. What will a person do with worldly wealth when you are around? When you are around. Jivishyamo yavadichasi tvam, and my life is going to last till, my life depends upon your desire. Till you wish me to live, I can live. I don't have my own independent choice that I can live up to this time. I can live up to this time. You are here to decide how long I'm going to live. So I don't need this kind of life. Varastume varaniya sa eva, and that is why I don't need what you are offering me. You give me what I told you, what I asked for you. I asked to know what happens to a person who is enlightened, and when he departs, whether he exists or not. This is what I want to know. You just tell me. Then he continues. Ajiriyatam amritam upetya. He said that when a person is given a choice for an immortal life, When a person is given a choice, when he sees this chance, this opportunity where he can have this immortality, where he can have this eternity, when he sees this opportunity, जीर्णन मृत्यु कद्धस्त prajanan, will he choose for things which are going to push him towards death, to drag him towards death? Now you are here before me, you are the most wise person that I know, and I'm going to receive the knowledge of the self. Now you are offering me things which have no value at all with respect to what I have asked you. So when I have this choice of immortality, should I should I go for what you are offering, or the things that I want to know what is this. So, he was very particular about that. That I don't need all these things. Avidyayam varna rati pramodan ati dirghe jivite ko rameda, and things which are transient, things which are not going to stay, things which are, which will never give you happiness. What will you do with this very big life, very long life? What I'm going to do with this very long life without that which will give me peace, without that which will give me eternity? So I don't need this. And thus, he says, Yasmin nidam vichikitsitam mrityu yat samparaye mahati bruhinastata. So that is why, O death, O Yama, tell me that which I have asked for, and that which people are very confused. I want to know that, that mystery. I want to know that mystery which always confuses people in this world. I want to know that. I don't need what you are telling me. Yoyam varo gudam anuprabhrishta nayam tasmat nachiketa brinite. I am prepared to travel. I am prepared to enter into the depth of my existence. I'm prepared to enter into the depth of my existence to know the mystery of this knowledge that I have seeked. I want to know the mystery of this, this huge knowledge that I seek. I don't need any other boon. Iti Kathopanishadadi Pratham Adhyaye Prathamavali. So the first sub chapter of the first chapter of Kathopanishad ends here. Thank you. It was a bit lengthy. Any question anybody has?